In the past 6 weeks, I have had an absolutely insane transformation for that time frame. I've gotten leaner and stronger, something I did not think was possible for me to do at this point in my lifting journey. But I've just been absolutely dialed, and honestly, guys, it has been pretty easy. I've been trying to really finish out this cut for a while. I'm someone who has a huge appetite, and in the past 6 weeks, I've gone from near 15% body fat to 10% body fat. I'm going to share with you all the tips and tricks that made this almost effortless as someone who has a huge appetite in this video. Let's get into it. All right, guys, in this one, we got an insane video how to go from 15% to 10% body fat in 6 weeks. This is going to be a cutting masterclass. The past 6 weeks are have been the best results I've ever gotten in my 10 years of being in the gym. I started working out when I was 16. I'm 26 now. Had ups and downs first few years. Didn't really know what I was doing. Just, lifting stuff up and down. No idea what I was doing with my diet whatsoever. Definitely made a lot of mistakes. Had a couple years off where I was just partying, or just doing, dopamine chasing. And then a few years where I was focusing on MMA over bodybuilding. But the past 6 weeks, I would say, are some of the most locked in I've ever been when it comes to bodybuilding. And I have gone from about 15%, it's probably more like 14-ish. Um, but for the sake of the video, we'll say 15 to 10% body fat in 6 weeks. So I'm going to give you guys the rules to follow that I did that made this cut for myself, who has an extremely high appetite and struggles a lot with cutting because of that. And it's made me kind of be stagnant in my physique for a long time. I've wasted like an entire year of putting in effort and training because I wasn't able to actually commit to a cut or a bulk because my appetite kept setting me back. So this video, we're going to go over it. First off, let's go over what the transformation has actually looked like in these 6 weeks. So full transparency, I am on TRT. As you guys know, I've been on TRT for 5 years when I was diagnosed with a brain tumor in 2021. I'd never run a steroid cycle. My whole purpose when it comes to being on testosterone is to make my energy, libido, mood, um, just my overall feeling in my body feel the best as possible. And that's not always going to be, typically TRT dosages are where you're going to actually feel the best. You're going to feel the most natural, the most healthy, have the least amount of side effects. When I raise my test too high, I get hair loss, I get acne. So I am going to run a cycle when I finish this cut, but it's not going to be using testosterone. As you guys can see, I have a very natural looking physique. This looks a little, maybe slightly sus, but just because this is probably near my limit in a way. But here, actually, in this top photo, I was actually running 160 milligrams of testosterone per week. So I was getting a little bit of acne, and my hair was like slightly, it's ever so slightly thinning a little bit. And I didn't really feel that great because my estrogen was a little bit high. So I actually, at the same time, when I did this, started this protocol, I committed. I got my own personal coach because just for accountability, right? Like I said, not even I was doing my own training plan, my own diet plan, but just for accountability, having someone there. At the same time, I dropped my dose from 160 to 120 milligrams of testosterone per week. That puts me in the high natural range. So I have natural test levels in these photos after. And my testosterone is a good bit lower than it was before throughout this whole 6 week process. As you guys can see, pretty insane difference in just 6 weeks. This was the week of July 18th. It is currently August 23rd. Um, these were like little separate days. I think this might have been the same day, but I think this was like a couple days later or something. And this was uh yesterday, August 22nd. So, insane difference, guys. How did I do it? First off, before we get into how I do it, let me talk about why this matters. Going from about 15% body fat to 10% body fat is just really an insane difference. Honestly, it almost feels even more of a bigger difference than going from 20% to 15% body fat. I would say here, I'm not 15% body fat here. I'm probably near 20% body fat here. This is when I was on TRT. I was probably on a higher TRT dose. This was like a week ago. But in this picture right here, it was a couple years ago, but I was just not dialed in my training, nutrition. I was like at the start of my relationship, just relationship could do that to you if you're not careful. You kind of lose a little bit of motivation. Um, and obviously didn't feel good. But even going from where I was here, which is, okay, to where I am now, huge difference. I feel so much better in my body. It feels good not to have all this extra fat on me. I like being shirtless. I feel comfortable. I feel free. I feel confident shirtless. There's no feeling of like, oh, like I hate how this looks. So I can sit down, sit like just on the couch, like, or even in this chair and be shirtless and enjoy not feeling like rolls of fat on me. But really the main thing is how people are responding to me. My wife, who originally said, I like guys to be bulkier and bigger. I don't like guys to be so shredded. She's way more attracted to me now here. Uh, Obviously I look way better. Um, I'm getting more true signals from women when I go around a person. Um, One noticeable one that's insane is that men are like automatically giving me more respect. This one was even more noticeable than like women getting choosing signals from women. It's the men are like if they get in my way, like apologizing me more. Um, like they like more they acknowledge me more. They randomly can give me fist bumps, like when I'm just like, walking around, like at the gym or like in a martial arts gym or lifting gym, and even people who weren't people at my gym who like they weren't that like cool with me um before for whatever reason, all of a sudden they're just like respecting me. Like the only thing I can think of is that I got lean. I mean, when you look at these two pictures, like who do you respect more? Right? It's like I mean, it's a total difference in between this, and it goes for anybody. Anybody who has the same leanness, fat transformation. Obviously, you still have to have muscle mass. That's whether you guys have muscle mass when you do this. If you're just lean and skinny, it's not going to have the same effect. But it's massive, guys. My confidence is also high. My confidence was already high. Even here, my confidence was high just because of, the method is not, that's the good thing about the method is that it's not solely reliant, your confidence is not solely reliant on your physique. Um, but confidence definitely is a little boosted now, and I just feel better. So being lean changes how you see yourself and how others perceive you. Massive quality of life increase going from here to here for sure. Number one most important thing, guys. If I had to give you one piece of advice, I got a lot in this presentation. I track everything. Okay. Main thing is going to be everything that goes into your mouth that has calories, you need to track. And you need to track all of your training, all of your exercises, all of your sets, all of your reps, the weight of all your exercises. You need to track all of it. I actually, at the start of this cut, bought MyFitnessPal Pro. If you guys have MyFitnessPal, I know you see the ad every time. Hey, $80 for a year. Right? It's like $20 a month or $80 for a year. It's a huge discount buying a year. I said, fuck it. I paid for the year. Now I go around. If I have something, I just like boom, put the scanner, immediately comes up. Right? Anything. It is noticeably easier, and I'm using the scanner often. All right. So, you know, 6, $7 a month to use it. It's how serious are you guys about your goals? You know what I mean? Even paying for that. Here's the thing: paying for MyFitnessPal Pro, just like how paying for coaching or paying for a program is going to make you more committed to the program or make you more committed to tracking. If you're paying for a tracking app, you're gonna be like, I'm paying for this shit. I gotta use it. You're going to track more. So, really, guys, like I said, anything that has calories in it, even like, uh, besides like the only things that I'm not really tracking that I'm consuming are like hot sauce. It's like, 10 calories for like 2 tablespoons. I don't track that, whatever. But like I have like some plant-based queso. I'm tracking that because that's might be like 80, 90 calories in the serving that I have. So this is so super important, guys. Even when you have binges and you don't even want to track it because it's embarrassing, you're pissed, like, oh, I've had a couple bad days uh of binging during this past 6 weeks that I'm gonna go over. I still tracked it, right? Yep. I Uber Eats Oreos some nights. Past after I already brushed my teeth for bed. Shameful, I know. I'm still gluttonous, but with these principles, we got it under control. Um, Still you gotta track it. Okay. Like make it this is your absolute law. You have to track everything, including your training. We're gonna go into why. Next, Retta TrueTide. This is a tool. Any of you guys who are on Retta, which are at least a couple of you, on this, listen to this. It makes it much easier. Okay. Less hunger, less food noise, uh, way easier to adhere to it. You're not having to think about food all day. It's just awesome. Okay. Very low negative side effects. If you have a high appetite like me, to where cutting is super hard, just take Retta straight up. If your appetite is not high, to where it's not hard for you to stay in a calorie deficit, you don't need Retta. You're good. Okay. But if you guys have been stagnant despite really wanting to get a better physique, you should take Retta. My current protocol, everyone has different ideas. I think one shot every 5 days is good. notice by day 6 and 7, I still feel it, but it is lower. Every 5 days, I feel is the most consistent for me. Some people do like daily shots, but I kind of like the peak for like it's just more bang for your buck, specifically with Retta. Right, for testosterone, I am on daily injections. That is what works best for me. Doesn't work for everyone. That works best for me. Another very interesting thing about Retta, and I've looked up other people and they've said this anecdotally, is that it specifically changes your fat distribution. So we got you guys, everyone has genetic fat distribution. Some people hold fat more on their love handles or their stomach or their arms or their face. Typically, throughout all my cuts, I've held the most fat in my midsection and on my face. All right, so that's just kind of how it goes. My arms would always get real shredded. My back would get real shredded. What Reddit does is it specifically, one of the mechanisms of it specifically targets the visceral fat, specifically targets abdomen fat over other areas. So right now, me at the same body fat percentage, my abs are more shredded. I actually look better from the front than the back, which I'm okay with because when people are evaluating your leanness, it's really the abs they're looking for, and the abs are also the most attractive part of a physique. So I'd rather have my abs be shredded and my back have a little more fat, like just a little bit more on the left hand, be a little bit less shredded, than vice versa. And I'm sure most people would also agree. So that's the interesting thing about Reddit. I've also seen anecdotally, I looked at a lot of research on Reddit. A lot of people claim the same thing. Like, yep, like since studying Reddit, I'm noticing that the fat is melting off my stomach, more at a higher rate than it normally does compared to the other places on my body at the same body fat percentage. So that's Reddit True Tide. Uh, Next would be carb cycling. So I have been using carb cycling in this cut. What carb cycling is going to be consuming varying amounts of different carbs based on the day. So I have a low carb day, a medium carb day, and a high carb day. This is gonna be pretty simple. Every day I keep my protein around 1 gram per pound of body weight. I keep my fat about 60 grams. Sometimes I want to have 70 grams depending on the food I was eating, but around 60 ideally. And then I filled the rest of my calories out with carbs. So I kept the fat static, the protein static. I was having about 170-ish to 180-ish per day. Um, by the way, in these two pictures, I think I'm 182-ish at the time of this picture, the bottom. Here, I believe I was like 184 or 185. So I lost 3 pounds, but I also gained muscle. We'll go over that too. So, medium, the rest of my calories here on these days, after the protein and the fat, is gonna be filled with carbs. So on the low day was about like 80-ish grams. Medium day was about like 160-ish. High day was like over 300, like close to 350. And how I did the reason this was good was because it consolidated my energy to the days where I needed it. On days where I was doing a full rest day, like today, right now, I'm having under 1,600 calories. I'm barely having any carbs. I'm just focusing on protein, plant-based sources, of course, because I don't really need that much power and that much energy. On days where I like doing my leg day, that was usually when I would have my high day, and then I would work out the next morning, do my chest and biceps day because I'm still running off all that carbs from the night before. So like a double whammy. I hit that workout leg workout at night on the high day where I have a lot of carbs. Then the next morning, hit it another workout while I still have that glycogen in my system. Then I'd actually have a low day that Saturday. So most of my days were medium days, at least like 4 days a week, up to five. I was getting about 2,100 calories. I'd have ideally one, sometimes two high days per week. A lot of times the second high day would just be like me having a little bit lack of discipline. So I just turn it into a high day and make it up with another low day. And my low days were like 1 or 2 days a week, like I said, on rest days, or always the day after my high day. My high day was typically Friday. I'd have a low day Saturday, always low day Sunday. So low weekend, just chilling, a little bit less active. Then I go back into it, the medium, either with a high-ish or medium day on Monday, then kind of static medium throughout the week until Friday. And that was awesome for me than just doing static every single day. Like I don't need to have on my rest day, I don't need all these carbs. Right? It's not being used for anything. So that was awesome. Another thing, guys, you just gotta mindset wise, you just gotta accept you're gonna have low energy. You're gonna feel less energetic. You're gonna feel less like physical drive. My mental, my motivation is extremely high. Let me go into what has motivated me. But like I feel flatter, a little more hungry, even with the Retta, less spontaneous energy. I don't feel personally less motivated, but less motivated than I would be otherwise. Like I'm gonna be more motivated when I'm doing my bulk because I'm gonna have equal motivation but more energy. Accept the discomfort, push through. Next, Know your triggers for breaking your diet. For me, the main triggers about my diet during the past 6 weeks are going to be semen retention and weed. When I broke SR, obviously it was with my wife. I didn't want to break SR. It was an accident. It happened a couple times, and both times I immediately, even though I was like on track for my diet for the day, I was just immediately broke SR, then just feasted. I just feasted and had like a high day. Same thing with weed. Weed actually made me go over my high days. I'd have like a low day, maybe a smoke like a Friday night, and the next thing you know, I'm at actually this just past Friday, 2 days ago, I had it was the day before I took those pictures, so I was a little carved up for those pictures. Um, I had 3,600 calories, 3,700 calories. Right, so 1,000 calories over my high day goal. My maintenance probably around this time, by the way, was probably like 26, 2,700 calories. So figure out your triggers, guys. What I'm doing now for the rest of this, staying strong with SR, no smoking weed at all. Even when I was smoking, it was I do it very rarely. I do it socially on occasion, max once a week with my wife or watching a movie on like a Friday night. Um, Absolute max. But now I'm not even gonna do that. And if you struggle with munchies and binging when you smoke weed, know yourself and say, I need to cut this out. Um, to accomplish my goals. Right? I don't think like a little bit of weed here and there is that bad for you. It's not really a pro, but it's not the worst thing to enjoy on occasion. But when it comes to your diet, it is if you struggle with that. Next one, this one was huge. I did this 2 or 3 times during the past 2 weeks. A 36-hour fast, which was basically my undo button. So the times where I would break my discipline, I'd break SR, smoke, and I'd lose discipline, and I'd have like over 3,500 calories. It's happened like a few times. The next day, or at least a few days later, I would do a 36-hour fast. So say it was like, say on Sunday, I broke SR and feasted. On Monday, I did a 36-hour fast. I didn't eat it all Monday. So I would go to bed Sunday night after binging, not eat at all Monday. Um, I would typically do like cardio on this day, like Muay Thai. Uh, That's what I was doing. And then I eat on Tuesday and have a normal medium day on Tuesday. And this would like undo my bad day and then some. So this was awesome part. I think I'm going to keep incorporating this even when I don't have bad days into my cuts just because it gives you such a boost. I mean, you can get in like a 2,500 calorie deficit just from one day versus, that's like 5 days of a 500 calorie deficit. I didn't notice any muscle loss. Actually, the opposite from this cut. Zevia, this is the actually I got it right here. Speak of the devil, Zevia, 0 calorie soda. This is going to be a huge hack for Sweet Tooth when it comes to fat loss. I've been running through these. The Zevias I like the best, um, because I mean these just taste fire. This root beer one. The ingredients are only carbonated water, natural flavors, stevia extract, and citric acid. So for a soda that tastes this good, it tastes like soda. You can't really do better than that. Absolutely 0 calories, 0 grams of sugar. Awesome. That's helped me a lot. And late night when I have sweet cravings, just have one of those instead of having, actual sweets filled with calories, which are going to totally mess up your cut. It makes the adherence much easier. Next one, this is huge as well for guys with your big appetites. Intermittent fasting. Um, even with the Retta, even with the Retta, I could pound 4,000 calories a day if I wanted to. I could push through my appetite's insane. I'm sure some of you guys are like that as well. Intermittent fasting has made it much better. It's where like really that combined with the Retta makes it almost like effortless to stick to my calorie goals most days, or a very low effort. What I was doing, I wake up at 8. I wouldn't eat till about 4. I eat from like 4 to around like 9:30-ish. Got my calories in that window. I would try to work out like a couple hours after I first ate. So I have like my carbs a couple hours before my workout and then a little bit of carbs after the workout. Get all my protein and fats in, obviously, as well in that time. But really, and then if I work out in the morning, it would usually be after a high day. So if you guys work out in the morning, you got to be mindful of that and maybe not do what I do, which is I like to push my window back, be fasted earlier in the day. Gives me more mental sharpness, more mental clarity. I work better on my computer. I just feel good. I feel fasted. I feel light in the morning, earlier in the day. And then at night, I have a big meal and just like chill out on time and around my workout. So again, if you guys work out in the morning, you got to think about that. Maybe have your window be earlier. I don't like that because for me, like my appetite works like once I start eating, that's when my appetite kicks in. Boom. So that's why I push it later in the day. If I eat earlier in the day, my appetite's not gonna like just shut off. Like say instead of like an 8 to a.m. to 4 p.m. window, it's not gonna work like that. All right, I gotta push mine back. But some people that does work for, I have some clients who that does work for. Um, one kind of mix around you could do is push your cap most of your calories later in the day, but then in the morning, if you get up and work out before work or something, have a little bit of fruit right before you go, just a protein shake after you work out, and then start your window and push it back till later before you have kind of your big calories for the day. Training, this was huge as well. So I lowered my training volume. So instead of my workouts would be like over 20 sets. When I start my bulk, my workouts are going to be like probably like 25 sets total per workout. High volume, really high intensity. What I would do here, because I have less energy, is going to be less volume, but keep the intensity. Normally, what I do in the past is, oh, I'm going to just keep the volumes. What matters is my overall number of sets. For me, guys, when I'm cutting, I know not really, right? I'm gonna use my energy and go really hard into just one or two sets for that exercise instead of three to four. And when I see I only have one or two sets for this exercise, it really makes me just go balls to the walls and like grind out that energy that I do have to the set. And it's been insane during this cut. Every single week, I've gotten stronger. It's not, I haven't hit like lifetime PRs on everything, but from where I was at the start in the beginning, those pictures. I lost all that fat, like 14 to 10% body fat, and every single week, I had some workouts where every single lift I got an extra rep the next week while cutting, which I never even thought was really realistic or possible uh, to this level when cutting. The reason that's possible is because I'm so dialed. I'm tracking everything. I'm doing everything I went over in this presentation. So yeah, go close to failure, guys. High effort, strong execution. Also longer rest times. When I'm bulking, I like to do shorter rest times. Just I'm pumping with energy. Here, definitely less rest time, so I can have more energy to put into those sets and really reach that muscular failure um, at a more efficient rate when with lower energy from the lower food intake. Like I said, I am getting stronger, more rest, more weight, better execution, better control every single week because all these things are locked in. Sleep has been huge. My sleep has also been much better over the past 6 weeks. What I've been doing is taking one or two magnesium pills. They're 400 milligrams each, about an hour before bed. I have a hard cutoff at 10 p.m. No matter what I'm doing, I start getting ready for bed. So if I'm like was watching a show with my wife or something like that, or whatever I'm doing, unless I like something to do for a client, I would just like cut it off at 10 p.m. Just go start getting ready for bed, let my dog out, do my bathroom routine, and then I would read until bed. So ideally, because I have a lot of books, I'm trying to get through like 20 books in the next year. I'd read from like probably 10:30 to like midnight. I could get like 100 pages in that time. Um, and by the time I midnight hits, like I'm just ready to like put the book down and pass out. So I'm getting knowledge and getting gnosis from the reading. It's setting my brain before my bedtime without screens, right? Lowering my dopamine, and then I set my alarm for 8 a.m. Get 8 hours. Boom. Awesome. It's been a huge part of this, just overall my overall routine, not even with the bodybuilding, but just overall my productivity, in my business and everything. So that's key. So there's motivation. A lot of you guys who are in phase one of the method, you're using women to motivate you, right? You have a pain point. You don't have a girl. You want a girl. That's okay. Be honest with yourself. Right? It's okay to use the desire for a woman to fuel your um, your goals when it comes to fitness and your physique because getting exceptional physique where you look muscular and you're 10% body fat, you're not 10% body fat and skinny, but you look strong is going to have a massive, massive difference in the way women are attracted to you. Um, and this was really my motivator for my first like years of me doing the method, me doing self-improvement, like multiple years, many years, honestly. Um, it's why it was my real motivation behind going to the gym, doing MMA, so many things that I was doing when it came to, sexual mastery method, PE, Qigong. It was all to learning female nature. It was all this to be able to get women. And it was a powerful, you guys saw my overall transformation, right? For over, so I started the method from like 19 to where I am now. And that transformation is obviously much crazier than the past 6 weeks. Uh, and women was a big desire for like the first like four-ish, at least maybe 5 years of that. So now my motivation is much stronger. And it's something that is higher, much higher than women. I want to be an example of the evolved method, right? So I can draw guys to this method and help change their lives. But mainly, I want to be an example of veganism and show that men can be lean, strong, muscular, masculine, high performing, powerful without eating animal products, without eating meat. I've been plant-based for 2 years. Um, yes, I'm on TRT. That makes no difference. The studies have shown that guys on a plant-based diet equal calories and protein. Guys on a meat-based diet equal calories and protein. Actually, the plant-based has slightly higher total testosterone than the meat-based diet. SHBG was slightly higher with the plant-based, so that means they had equal free testosterone. So it's about equal testosterone between the two diets, even though the vegans had a slightly higher total T. But my brother Joey is an example. He just won a natural bodybuilding show. He's now a natural, official, professional vegan bodybuilder. He won his competition over dozens of other meat eaters. And the guy in the other division, other metal division, was also vegan. So the two vegans in the whole show won over dozens of meat eaters um, without having to consume animals because it's simply superior to be plant-based. And so my motivation now is to simply create the best physique possible. So people can hear this message that I have, all right, to help animals but also help men get on the best path, on the healthiest path, and the most optimal masculine path. If people respect you, the most likely to listen to what you stand for. Your physique can be part of your message, whatever your message may be. Or maybe your message is my message. Maybe you don't want to spread, the method and veganism, but whatever you guys have that you're passionate about, if you have an amazing physique, people are going to listen to you. You can't help it. If you're overweight, if you're obese, or even if you're here, especially if you're here, right? This guy is like, oh, well, this guy, I'm not want to listen to him. This guy is like, okay, he says something he says it with authority. Same thing here. Even here, this looks decent, but like, not, it's such a difference in aura between these two picks. It was only 6 weeks, guys, of locking in and doing everything that I went over in this presentation. So let's go over the overall blueprint. Biggest lessons from this past 6 weeks, guys. Just take a screenshot of this if you need. Track everything. This is the most important thing. If I give you guys one thing, force self-track everything, even when you binge, even when you mess up, track it. That's the number one thing. Get MyFitnessPal Pro, pay the $20 a month or the $80 for the year, because when you're paying for something, you're gonna be kicking yourself to use it. Use Retta as a tool. It's not a replacement for discipline, but it helps a lot if you have a big appetite. Use low, medium, and high calorie days strategically. That's carb cycling. Keep protein around 1 gram per pound of body weight. Fat around 60 to 70 grams, depends on how big you are. And the rest is going to be carbs based on your low, medium, high days. Keep your high days around your maintenance calories. Your medium about, I would say, like 500, 600 below, and your low days probably like about 1,000 below would be a good place to start. You can manipulate it based on how it goes for you. Accept that cutting comes with lower energy. Just accept it and plan accordingly. Protect your discipline. Know your triggers. For me, it's breaking semen retention and smoking. To not let one bad day become a bad week. You guys can use the 36-hour fast as an undo button to really undo even a whole weekend binge. I had a whole one. I went to Lollapalooza like around like week 3, and then went to Nashville on vacation with my wife, and definitely ate a lot. And then one 36-hour fast undid all that extra gaining and then some. Use simple craving tools like sugar-free sodas. Like I said, guys, Zevia absolutely goaded, helping me a lot with this fast. Use intermittent fasting. If, again, you need it, if you have a huge appetite. Train with lower volume, but super high intensity. That's where we track our workouts. Go back, look at what you did last time and say, I did 120 for 12. I'm doing 13 this set. I don't care. Right? Hype yourself up, take a little bit of rest, extra rest before the set if you need it. I know you guys are low energy when you're cutting and hit that extra rep. I've gotten way stronger. I get stronger every single week. Really, it's slowly, right? But it's consistently stronger every single week with this dialed in. I've been lifting for a long time. I didn't think it was possible for me to cut this efficiently and this quickly while getting stronger. It's possible. Prioritize sleep and recovery. Use female attraction as fuel if it motivates you. It's okay to use that as fuel, guys. That's an important part of a man's journey, as becoming attracted to women. If that is something that you desire. And lastly, eventually build a purpose bigger than yourself, bigger than your ego, bigger than women, because none of that's going to satisfy you. Have a message that you want to spread to the world and have some way that you want to change the world. And when you have that purpose from source, from God, that's going to give you the ultimate motivation to be an example of uh, a masculine, respectable, powerful man, and your physique shows that through. So awesome, guys.